Hey guys, in today's video, we are going to talk about how many Filipinas are truly interested in older foreigners. If you've ever wondered whether Filipinas are genuinely interested in older foreigners or not, or is it all about money? Well, you're probably not alone. Most of us, before they've even stepped foot in the Philippines, are usually asking this question before they even get here. So let's take a look at the reality behind this controversial question, including actual numbers, motivation, and cultural context. Stick around. Okay, first off, why does this topic matter? Probably because most older men, when they get here, find themselves in relationships that they probably never thought was possible back in the West. But, is it genuine attraction or is it just survival? That's the question that most of us ask ourselves. And some of us are disillusioned in that answer as well sometimes. So today I'm going to break it down using personal experience, 9 years now in the Philippines, cultural factors, and also some available data that's available as well. So what do the numbers say based on surveys and sites? So this is based on some online dating sites, some numbers that I was able to gather. And so sites like Filipino Cupid, Pina Love, and Truly Filipina show a high volume of young women ages 18 to 30, interacting in high numbers with men age 40 to 65 and even higher. So in user behavior analytics, up to 50 to 60% initiate contact with expats or foreigners older than the age of 40. So anecdotal evidence on the ground in provinces, in cities, relationships with 20 to 30 year plus age gaps are actually kind of commonplace here in the Philippines, and they're not really taboo. Family and cultural values. A lot of Filipinos grow up valuing maturity, stability, and provider traits, which us older guys often represent. Just from dating over 9 years, it doesn't seem to be a big issue with most Filipinas. Like they always say the most common thing that you have probably ever heard, even on the dating sites, even if you haven't stepped foot in the Philippines yet, and that is age is just a number. They always say that age is just a number. I think, though, behind the scenes, though, if you really would get honest opinions between themselves and not with you, the foreigner, most of them would prefer someone close to their age. But it's also supply and demand. What is available here in the Philippines and how many foreigners are coming over that are younger guys? And the number is actually quite little. If they do come over and they're younger, then they're usually just here just for a quick vacation, or they're playing around more. They don't want to settle down like most of the older foreigners do anyway. And again, more stability as well. Their retirement, they've got a steady pension. They're able to make a move overseas. Guys, I do want to mention when I'm living or traveling around the Philippines or anywhere in Southeast Asia, I always use a VPN to stay secure. Surfshark is my go-to. It protects my data on public Wi-Fi, lets me access content from back home, and even helps by booking cheaper flights by switching virtual locations. Use my link below to get 3 extra months free for an extra low cost. Surfshark is affordable, easy to use, and one subscription covers unlimited devices. Stay safe online wherever you go. Back to the video. And then the question often begs, but how many are genuinely interested? So let's be real, not every Filipina is in love with your age or your gray hair, right? It's just not happening. So you have to ask yourself, number one, would she still be with you if you weren't upgrading her lifestyle quite a bit, or if you weren't helping her financially? And then two, you have to ask yourself, does she initiate affection, conversation, and interest, or just respond when you offer help? And I think a lot of people, again, are blinded by the youth, the beauty and what they perceive as sweetness and kindness and a happy-go-lucky Filipina. And also, you need to ask, is she proud of your relationship publicly? Or is it only behind closed doors? And I want to mention on this based on my own experience here in a second. I would say that some are sincerely attracted to older guys, maybe their wisdom, emotional stability, and maybe global perspective. But others, they may see you as an escape from poverty. And I think a lot of us realize that, and it's kind of a give and take. Listen, you're getting her youth, her beauty, someone that would be unattainable for most Westerners, maybe back in the West. And for her, she's also getting something. She's getting financial stability. She's getting a better lifestyle. She's living in much better conditions than she could ever hope for. She's getting travel and trips and things like that. And so it is not like one is using the other. It's both are getting something out of it, right? You know, it could also be, are you a stepping stone for a visa or just a better life in general? And so I just want to share an estimate that I did read online. Based on anecdotal trends and social context, roughly 1 out of 5 Filipinas, which is maybe 15 to 25%, are genuinely interested in older expats for the right reasons. And I see these on a day-to-day basis. I see a younger Filipina, and you can always usually tell. For me, it's kind of obvious if you're outside looking in and you see an older expat walking with a younger Filipina. If she's on him, like she's got her arm wrapped around him, they're holding hands, she sits close together, she's paying attention, they're talking, you know, when they're out together, I notice this. Or when she's walking with you in the mall, is it almost like she's embarrassed a bit? She walking ahead of you a little, maybe a little off to the side, a little behind you? Is she on her phone the entire time she's sitting with you at the mall, just face down? I see that quite often. I see Filipinas walking ahead, walking behind, walking with quite a big space off to the side, almost like they're embarrassed. And the foreigners just don't seem to see it, I guess. Maybe because back home she's showing all the affection and and doing all the right things, but in public she's not, and he just doesn't see it. And also, again, she's looking down on her phone. She's not engaging in conversation when they're together. I notice those things too. But again, I notice the Filipinas that are arm in arm, like you can tell they're truly in love with the guy, or they truly care for him. And you also see them interacting and talking on a date. You know, there's eye contact and they're close together. So, you know, I do see those things out and about. So again, the rest might have mixed motives, ranging from survival to hope to practicality. So I do want to mention it in my experience, for example, like in Cebu City or Dumaguete, when there's a lot of expats, and it's quite common to see these age gap, and even like Angeles. It doesn't seem to be as big of a deal. The Filipinos don't seem to be as shy. They will go out and meet you in public, no problem. They'll walk with you. They'll go places, no problem. Once you get out into places where there's not a lot of foreigners, Filipinos are judged much, much more. So for example, if you are like in Bacolod, I've noticed, if you want to be in an age gap or ilo, people tend to stare a lot more. And so Filipinas are much more apprehensive on maybe meeting you in public initially. They want to meet somewhere kind of private, quiet, away from public eyes. And they really want to make sure that you guys are a serious item before they go out into public and are seen with you, because they don't want to be seen as a Filipina who is a gold digger. And that is how a lot of Filipinos will perceive them. So a lot of them, again, in the smaller provinces where they're going to get judged more, smaller cities, where there's not so many expats, not so many mixed couples, they tend to be much more careful on who they meet and meeting out in public. Now, places in Cebu City, it seems to be open season, you know, same with Dumaguete, Angeles, places like that. So some red flags versus green flags. We kind of mentioned on that already a little bit, but a few more items. For me, these are my green flags. One, she has a job or was in school when you met. For me, that's a good sign. It's somebody at least who's got maybe some work ethic. She's studying. She's trying to do something to better her life. Number two, she doesn't rush into commitment or ask for money right away. Seems like she's got genuine interest. She's not trying to move right in with you. I've had Filipinos who told me, immediately, like, when can I move in? I would like to move in with you. I love you, like on the first date, things like that. Those things for me are a red flag. But a green flag is, again, she doesn't rush into commitment and ask for money early on. And the third one would be she wants to introduce you to friends and to family. She's not trying to hide you. She's okay posting your pictures. Like if you go somewhere, she is proud of you. She wants to post your pictures maybe on social media to show the world off. Hey, this is my boyfriend or whatever. If you've been dating months and she still does not want to put anything on social media whatsoever, keeping it very, very quiet, she hasn't even mentioned introducing you to friends or family, that's a red flag for me. Another green flag for me is she talks about building a future together, not just helping her now. She's talking about the future, like way out in the future, in 5 years or next year, let's go and take a trip or something like that. She's talking about the future. She's not talking about here and now. Hey, this weekend, let's take me to Boracay or take me to Palawan, things like that. Red flags, and a lot of people already know these ones. One, constant financial emergencies. That is a huge red flag. Two, avoid showing the relationship publicly. Like, again, I'm not talking about a week, 2 weeks, even a month, but you start getting into a couple months being together and still no mention, no pictures. Maybe another one for me is like if you go somewhere with a Filipina, and if you've been together for a while and it's all about her, please take 100 photos of me. And then maybe she wants to take 1 or 2 of you together. That's kind of a red flag to me. That means she's really more interested in herself and she wants to post her pictures and her bikini at the beach all over social media, but she doesn't want to post a picture of you two together. And she's only taken a few pictures of you together. That's another big red flag for me. Number 3, if you're with a single mom, she doesn't want to introduce you to her child or family. That is, again, most serious Filipinos really want to introduce you to the family right away. Single mom, that's a whole other thing. But if you choose to date a single mom, then I would imagine at some point, once you've become serious, that the child's got to be introduced at some point, right? And the 4th red flag for me is you are a backup plan, not a partner. So it's almost like you're just kind of the backup plan until someone maybe younger or richer comes along, or maybe she meets a wealthy Filipino. Who knows? Maybe you're just kind of the backup plan. You aren't exactly what she's looking for, but hey, it's better than being in poverty and being stuck way out in the province, living with no electricity, no internet, no Netflix, no TV, no aircon, or whatever. It doesn't have to be that bad, but that is kind of sometimes the way they look at things. So, closing thoughts on this. Listen, the Philippines isn't full of gold diggers. I don't want you to think that you come out here and every single one is a gold digger. Nothing annoys me more than when I see in the comments, every Filipino is a gold digger. Listen, I get it if you go online and you run into a lot of profiles where they're asking money. Listen, I get that. And unfortunately, when you get online, this is where the gold diggers and all the scammers are going to congregate because it's easier targets. They don't need to meet you in person. But if you get out there and you meet girls who are working and going to school and everyday life, you'll probably meet a lot more genuine women. And listen, if dating apps is really the only thing you can do, you have limited time. You don't have time to come. You can't move out here. Maybe you just have a couple of weeks to visit. You don't have time to just go around and meet everyone. So if you do get online, it's really just a process of elimination. You may have to go through 100 girls before you find one genuine one online. And that's just unfortunately the way it is. But I do also want to mention that, just because it's not full of gold diggers, but it's also not a fantasy land of endless true love everywhere. Listen, every Filipina is not going to be interested in dating you or an age gap. These numbers tend to say about maybe 1 out of 5. I would place it honestly even more, maybe 1 out of 20 Filipinas. This is my opinion from 9 years of being here, is truly interested in maybe even dating a foreigner, regardless of age gap. They're not confident of their English, or maybe they just don't feel like they have a lot in common. They want someone their own culture, closer to their age, someone maybe they grew up with, went to school with. I mean, it's normal. Maybe they are attracted to a Westerner, but they don't really want a relationship. A lot of them are just completely shy of how they're going to be perceived by their family, their friends, other Filipinos. And then you throw in the age gap, and then that's a whole other story. A lot of them, again, they may, let's say you find one that's interested in a foreigner. She doesn't necessarily if she's 25, she doesn't want a 65-year-old. Not all of them are going to want that age gap. Some of them say, yeah, age is just a number. But if you dig a little deeper and get down to it and you start asking them, oh, age is just a number. Let's say you ask a 25-year-old Filipina. She'll say something like, age is just a number. And then you start pushing a little bit more. So is 35 okay? Yeah, 35 is okay. 45? Yeah. 55? Yeah. 65? And then they start thinking, oh, shit, that's the age of my grandpa. and then they start, well, maybe not 65. So the whole age is just a number thing is a bunch of BS. Some of them it isn't. Some of them it truly is. And I see happy couples with these large age gaps out there. So they do exist. I just don't want people to come out here thinking that every girl is going to fall for them. Every Filipina is interested in them. And in my view, literally 1 out of 20 might be interested in a foreigner. And that is just a foreigner. That's not saying age gap. It's probably even less when you're talking about an age gap. So again, take it with a grain of salt to what I say. This is just based on my experience, 9 years here, my own dating experience, and what I see on a day-to-day basis. And I've lived everywhere. I've lived Dumaguete. I've lived in Cebu. I've lived in Davao. I've lived in Bacolod. Spent a few months in General Santos. Spent a few months in Bohol. Spent a few months in Cagayan de Oro. I've been to a lot of cities, and I've observed dating in many islands and cities, Luzon to Mindanao. And this is based on my experience. So honestly, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. There are amazing, sincere Filipinas out there. But just like anywhere else in the world, you've got to use wisdom, common sense, and patience. And you can be successful. So tell me what you think down in the comments. What do you think? Have you met a Filipina who is truly into you? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe for more real-life talk about dating and expat life in the Philippines. Check out my website for travel tips, dating guides, and personal consultations at geointhephilippines.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see everyone on the next video. Ciao.